The film begins in 1986. Susanna is running fast to catch a wrestling match because her lover, Surya, is fighting another man there. Surya has already been beaten badly, but the moment he sees her, he completely turns the situation around and starts overpowering the huge man facing him. In the end, he grabs him by the neck and wins the fight. On their way home, they take a sheep as a prize for his victory. Surya says he will sell it to collect the dowry so he can propose to her, which makes Susanna feel shy. When they return to their home, they discover that the men of Radin Oro have captured her father and pinned him to the ground. They learn that her father had mortgaged their house and rice fields because of cockfighting and lost, and now Radin Oro wants his money and must collect it. Susanna tries to handle the situation and tells them they will pay the debt, but the men already know they are poor and could never afford the millions that were borrowed. At that moment, Surya steps in and offers his sheep as a gesture of goodwill, promising that they truly intend to pay what they owe. The men agree and leave. The next day, they are invited to Radin Oro's house. He roasts the sheep they gave him and tells them that he has long wished for an heir to inherit everything he has built, but his wife Minet has been unable to give him a child and never will. Minet, who had been proud and domineering, becomes embarrassed. Radin continues, saying that Susanna has grown up now and that he wants to marry her. Everyone knows this is in their daughter's best interest. Susanna is shocked by the news and realizes that her parents will agree and won't be able to stand against him. Radin makes it clear that he is not asking for their opinion, and the marriage takes place. During the wedding celebration, Surya is drunk. He storms into the ceremony, attacks the guards, and sets the place on fire. He is arrested, and Radin orders him to be whipped until his back is completely ruined. Radin then brings out a knife and intends to cut off Surya's hand as well, since that is the punishment for a thief, because he tried to steal another man's wife. Susanna grabs Radin's hand and begs him to spare Surya, promising that she will do anything he wants. Radin violently pulls her by the hand and drags her into the room with him. She does not consent, but she is forced to give in for Surya's sake. Minet becomes extremely jealous and wants to get rid of Susanna by any means, suspecting that her husband has truly fallen in love with her. However, Radin had told Minet that he only married Susanna so she could give him the heir he wants, something Minet was never able to do. Minet tricks the servant into bringing her Susanna's comb, which still has strands of her hair in it. Susanna later wakes up to find many strange things crawling on her bed. She then goes out with Radin to a farming celebration, where everyone prays for a good harvest that year. Radin announces to the people that Susanna is pregnant, and that she will finally give him the heir he has been waiting for. Surya is present at the celebration and is completely devastated when he hears the news. Minet, her eyes filled with rage, decides to go back to the sorcerer she had previously given the hair to, since the snakes had done nothing. She tells him that she wants Susanna to die, but only after suffering first. Susanna is in her room drinking tea when she suddenly feels like she's choking. She pulls something out of her mouth, and an enormous amount of hair comes out. The next day, she goes to Surya and tells him that someone is using black magic against her, and that she does not feel safe at all in the house she is living in. She begs him to help her if he still loves her, and gives him the hair. The servant overhears their conversation and is deeply shocked, especially when she realizes that the hair she gave to Minet is the same hair used in the black magic ritual. A long time passes, but nothing seems to happen. Minet returns to the sorcerer, Jaya, demanding that he do something, since he promised that Susanna would die, yet nothing has happened. Jaya tells her that if she truly wants to destroy Susanna completely and make her suffer, there is only one solution, and she must agree to it. She must have a sexual relationship with him. He claims this is the only way he can cast the fireball curse on Susanna and kill her painfully. Minet is consumed by evil and willing to do anything to get rid of Susanna, so she agrees. The sorcerer is overjoyed and performs a dark ritual meant to ensure Susanna dies a slow and agonizing death. He repeatedly strikes a crow he holds in his hand while chanting the spell. At the same time, Susanna feels that she is about to give birth. She is taken to the room, suffering from intense pain, but the midwife cannot see the baby's head or any sign of delivery, and she is confused about how Susanna thought she had seen the baby's head appear. At the same time, Susanna is suffering in a very strange and incomprehensible way. No one understands what is happening until they look at her stomach. Both of them panic, run outside, then stand frozen beside each other. Susanna keeps screaming in pain, then suddenly stands up as her stomach begins to protrude from the opposite side. Every time the sorcerer performs another act, Susanna's pain grows worse and worse, until she collapses onto the bed and her stomach bursts outward in reverse. At that moment, Radin enters and is horrified by the sight. He realizes that the baby is still alive, but Susanna is dying. The last thing she sees is Minet, laughing and gloating over her suffering. Later, Surya meets the servant at the door and gives her a talisman to pass on to Susanna so she can protect herself. But tragically, they are told that Susanna has already died because of black magic. Surya is completely shattered and breaks down crying. He desperately wants to know who cast the black magic on her. He runs to her grave, digs it up, pulls out her body, and sees the opening in her back. He hugs her tightly and sobs uncontrollably. Then he carries her away to another place, holds her, and falls asleep beside her. Suddenly, a voice calls him by name. He wakes up terrified, brushes the flies away from Susanna's body, picks her up, and moves to another location. The story then returns to Radin, who has no idea what really happened to Susanna. He asks Minet about the reason, and she tells him that it seems Susanna was involved in black magic and may have brought it upon them. She says she will take care of everything and make sure no one finds out. She adds that God must have wanted to give him a daughter instead of the son he had dreamed of. Surya places Susanna's body next to a tree and covers it, then begins speaking to the voice that keeps calling him. The voice belongs to Samuel, who expresses sorrow over what happened to Susanna. Surya tells him that she died because of black magic. Samuel asks him where he plans to take his lover's body, and what he intends to do with it. Surya doesn't know the answer. He collapses to the ground in grief. Then Samuel asks him a chilling question. Would you like your beloved to come back to life? At first, Surya thinks he is being mocked. But Samuel reveals his true nature. He is a demon. He tells Surya that because Susanna died by black magic, the child now belongs to him, as she is the daughter of death. In return, he offers Surya a chance to let Susanna take revenge on those who wronged her. The price, however, is that Surya must give him the child, who will later take Susanna's soul again. Surya hesitates, but eventually agrees. He sits down, and Samuel warns him not to open his eyes. After a moment, Samuel tells him he can open them. Susanna is suddenly free, standing behind him, awake and calling his name, confused about what happened. Surya lies to her, telling her that Radin cast black magic on her, and that she gave birth to the child from her back. Surya looks around for the voice he heard earlier, then turns back, but Susanna is gone. He searches everywhere for her, but without success. Susanna goes looking for her child. She sees a street food vendor, and when he notices her back, he panics and runs away. She chases him and orders 10 plates of food. Terrified, he pretends to be blind and hard of hearing so she won't hurt him. She finishes all 10 plates quickly and asks for 10 more. When he leans over to serve her, he sees eyes staring up from inside his pot. He screams and runs away. The same thing happens with 2 other people, who are also terrified by her and collapse in fear. The news spreads throughout the entire city, and everyone becomes afraid of the ghost. 2 foolish police officers try to calm the people, telling them not to worry and claiming they will catch the ghost themselves, though privately, they have no idea what they're doing. Eventually, Susanna finds Surya and demands the truth. He finally tells her that she died while giving birth to the child from her back, and that he couldn't bear the loss. So he made a deal with the devil to bring her back because he loves her deeply and can't live without her. Susanna tells him she wants to take her daughter away from the cursed house she lived in, and she makes him promise that he will help her. The next day, Surya goes to the servant while she is at the market and talks to her about the baby. He then takes her to the forest to meet Susanna. The servant thinks he has gone crazy when he calls out her name, but Susanna is up in a tree, pretending to be a terrifying ghost and frightening Rady. Surya arrives and calms things down, telling Rady that she can help them with the baby. Rady is completely confused about how Susanna is standing in front of her, but she tells them that the baby is in good health. She also explains that Minet keeps trying to kill the child and clearly hates her. Rady adds that she saw the shaman who performs the spells, his name is Jaya, near the house, and that he said he had placed protection on the house to keep anything from entering. Surya decides to go to Jaya's house with Rady and asks him to perform magic for them. Surya then tells him that he is the one protecting Radin's house and that they want him to remove the protection so Susanna can finally live in peace with her child again. Jaya laughs and says Susanna has no chance against him, claiming he is far stronger than she is. And indeed, Susanna is unable to break through the protection placed on his house. At that point, Surya pulls out a knife and tries to kill Jaya, but Jaya is extremely powerful. Using his magic, he throws Surya against the wall and slams Rady to the ground. Just as he is about to kill Surya, Rady steps in front of the knife. She tears the chain from his neck and throws it into the fire, where it burns, instantly breaking the protection. Susanna is then able to cross the barrier and enter. Jaya strikes Surya on the head and tells him that the spirit that returned to his lover's body is not truly hers. It is a vengeful spirit that has come to take revenge on everyone who wronged her. Suddenly, the power goes out. Susanna enters, grabs Jaya's head, and crushes it. Later, the police set a trap in the forest to catch the ghost that has been driving everyone mad. A figure dressed in white falls into the trap and is caught under a metal cage, but when the officers approach, they are shocked to discover that it is Susanna. They offer to take her to her husband, Radin, but she refuses and asks them to bring him to her instead. One of the officers goes to inform Radin that his wife Susanna is in the forest. The moment he hears her name, he rushes there with them. When Radin arrives in the forest, Susanna changes her appearance in his eyes, and he sees a completely different woman. He threatens the officers, warning that if they arrest him again, he will come after them to collect all the debts they owe him. The officers are utterly confused by what is happening. Before Radin arrives, Surya goes to Susanna and tells her that if she harms Radin now, Minet will be allowed to take the baby. Therefore, she must not reveal anything to him at all, and that is exactly what happens. Jabra brings his friend Erjali to stay with Susanna, and they decide to take her to Erjali's house. Later, Erjali's friend comes and tells them that the ashes Susanna carries can be used to determine whether she is truly the ghost or not, since Radin's men had claimed she was dead. So how could she be alive now? They sit with her and mix the ashes into a cup, asking her to drink it, but she refuses. Erjali drinks it instead, and the food in his mouth suddenly turns into countless worms. Terrified, they realize what she is, while she becomes even more frightening. She then shows them the opening in her back, and they all run out of the house in panic. One of them jumps on a bicycle, and when another tries to ride with him, they both fall. One of them continues alone but crashes into a food cart and starts arguing with the vendor. As soon as the food vendor sees Susanna, he pretends to be blind again, claiming he has been blind since childhood, and runs away as fast as he can. The story then returns to Minet, who goes to Jaya's house to find out what she should do and whether the protection on her house is still in place. But when she arrives, she discovers that he has died in a supernatural way. She realizes there is a hidden secret behind what happened, returns home, and begins brushing her hair, only to freeze in terror when she finds herself brushing long hair, and then turns around to see Susanna standing behind her. Then she disappears again, and Minet starts living in constant terror. Susanna keeps appearing to her and vanishing over and over. Minet can't handle it anymore and starts screaming, but her husband, who is right beside her, wakes up and asks why she's screaming. She tells him she's scared of Susanna because she's back and intends to take revenge on all of them. Even the shaman who had protected their house was found dead in an unnatural way. They become extremely worried and go to Susanna's grave, only to find it empty. At that moment, Radin blames his wife for what she did and asks her why she used black magic and harmed Susanna. She tells him she did it out of jealousy. She was afraid of losing him and thought he truly loved Susanna. And even though he has a daughter, not a son, she is still his heir no matter what. Radin is devastated by what she did to Susanna and tells her they are now in serious trouble because of her actions. From his words, she realizes that he really did love Susanna. They return home and bring a new shaman to protect the house. He gives them a mirror and a wrapped object, telling them it will reveal her if she disguises herself as anyone else. He warns them that she will come for her child and that they must be extremely careful. Surya gathers the officers and tells them what happened, explaining that Susanna is coming for her daughter. They decide to help her. On the day of the harvest celebration, the officers tell the guards to go join the festivities, and they actually do, except for one. Radin steps outside and realizes the guards are gone. He yells at them for leaving their posts just to celebrate. Suddenly, Susanna appears disguised as Siddharati. He asks her where she's been and reminds her that her job is to watch the child and that she must never leave her. She tells him she was visiting her sick mother, and he allows her inside. He leaves with Jabra. As soon as she enters, she speaks to Minet, who immediately feels suspicious. Susanna heads to the child's room, excited to see her daughter, but she becomes furious when she doesn't find her there. She comes back to Minet, who places the object the shaman gave her in front of her, but it doesn't reveal anything. However, when Susanna moves toward the child, Minet uses the mirror and sees the hole in Susanna's back. She drops the mirror in terror. Susanna then reveals her true form, begging and melting grotesquely. A guard hears the noise and comes out. He is terrified, searches the place carefully, and looks into the mirror, where he sees Susanna standing in front of the fire. When he turns around, she's gone. When he looks back into the mirror, she's suddenly standing right behind him, laughing, then disappears again. The guard is horrified but keeps going. As soon as he turns, she appears right in front of him, and he collapses to the ground in fear. Susanna throws him down, releases worms onto his face, smashes him against the wall, and drags him into the room as he screams in agony. Meanwhile, the guards reach the festival, where a woman gets them drunk so they won't stay alert. This was all arranged with Surya. After that, Surya heads toward the house. He tries all the doors, but they're locked. Suddenly, one door opens for him, and he goes inside. Radin arrives with the guards who were celebrating. He enters alone and sees blood on the floor, then finds his guard dead and completely shattered. He rushes upstairs and finds the child on the bed, while his wife is hiding in the bathroom. Even though he's relieved to be there, both of them are still terrified. Surya fights the guards inside the house, and a brutal battle breaks out. At the same time, Susanna throws the third guard into the fire, killing him. She then goes to save Surya before he's killed, but the guards manage to restrain her using a flute. They pull out Chris's blade, a weapon forged specifically to kill demons. Just as they're about to finish her, Surya jumps and attacks the one playing the flute. Susanna regains her strength and looks at the guard holding the blade. She laughs as he repeatedly stabs her in the stomach, but it has no effect. The guard tries to play the flute again, but Susanna stops him, shoves the flute down his throat, and kills him. The last guard is paralyzed with fear. Susanna takes control of him, throws him through the window, then jumps down on him with Chris's blade and kills him. Radin and Minet come downstairs, with Minet holding the baby. Susanna prepares to approach her, threatening to kill the child if they come closer. Minet panics, but Susanna doesn't hesitate and moves forward. Minet throws the baby away, but Susanna uses her power to gently land the child on the hay, unharmed. She seals off all exits for Minet, goes to check on her daughter first, then returns to Minet and violently beats her. Suddenly she disappears. Surya is holding the baby, confused about where Susanna went. Minet tries to run, but Susanna grabs her, lifts her into the air, and slams her to the ground. Minet begs Susanna to forgive her, but Susanna does the same thing that was done to her. This time Minet herself emerges from her own stomach and is killed. She is left completely soaked in blood. Susanna approaches Surya, takes the child, and says they can be together forever, if he kills the baby. Surya pretends to agree and hugs Susanna, but he knows she's no longer the woman he loved, she's a demonic spirit of vengeance. He pulls out the shaman's nail and drives it into Susanna's head. He apologizes to her, saying he has to let the child grow up and that he will come to her later, so they can be together. Years pass. The child grows up and visits her mother's grave. Surya promises himself that before he dies, he will give the child the best life possible. That is his punishment in life, and he accepts it, because he once tried to make a deal with the devil. At the end of the film, he returns to wrestling, and this time Susanna's daughter is cheering for him. He rises and defeats his opponent with ease. And here our film ends. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.